Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a beautiful night for some volleyball. It's a cool Thursday here in Bethany, West Virginia. The Bison are getting ready to take on Washington and Jefferson. It should be a beautiful matchup. Both teams getting ready. Starting lineup tonight for the Bethany Bison: Brooke Corley, number 10, Sydney Kriker, number 15, 22, Sydney Snyder, number 25, Lynn Burton, number 30, Riley Felton, and number 33, Emma Marthin. Washington starting tonight: number 10, Katie Connor, number 15, Ashley Covell, number 17, Claire Sutherland, and number 21, Lauren Gill, and 22, Alexis Thomas Heaton. And there we go. Bethany strikes first. Served by Bethany. Way outside. Back tied at 1-all. Number 17, Olivia, sailing it a little high. Service coming from Washington. Emma, beautiful set. Washington settling under it. Riley getting it a little high and over. Washington trying to keep it in. They do not. Beautiful set by Emma. Riley spiking it, able to get it just outside. Washington Jefferson trying to control it, weren't able to. Coach Klein giving them some final words of encouragement. Service by Leah. Outside. Point awarded Bethany. Let's see if Leah can do it again. Bethany getting off to a rocky start here, 0-3. Washington Jefferson sitting at 2-1. Emma, beautiful set. Over to Jess. Jess scores. So Leah getting it again. 2 for 2 on the night. Little miscommunication, almost had a bobble. Washington gets a little late on it, but Corley settles under it. Emma gives it a set. What a strike by Emma. Beautiful setup. Lynn, a beautiful set to give Emma. Little redirect there as the wall collided. Just gave it a little tap. Big heavy serve. Settled underneath it was Leah. Over to Jess. Lynn settles under it. Emma finding a little bit outside, looking for that back right corner. Number 10, Katie Connor, to service here for Washington Jefferson. There we go. Corley settles under it. Lynn there as well. Leah with a spike. Over to Washington. Wall was there to be blocked. Leah a little under it. Over to Jess. Jess gets the point. So subbing in, we have number 22, Sydney Snyder from Steubenville, Ohio, just over the river here. Lynn settling under it, making sure. I think, what are we calling here? I don't know, I was a little late on the read by the refs, but service back to the Bison. Corley settling under it. Over to Jess. Lynn to Sydney. Washington settling under it. Redirect by the wall. Another redirect. Outside. So, little bit of a lead here. And Washington calls timeout. Got to be wondering what Coach Klein is talking in the huddle there. Got to be proud of her girls coming out here 8-2. So, tonight we have a very young team with Bethany. 12 freshmen, 7 sophomores, 4 juniors, and 1 senior. Pretty big things we have going on. That means these women are going to be able to work with each other all 4 years. We have an amazing game coming up. Washington taking the full timeout, trying to implode a strategy here. Getting ready, finally having the last bit of words. Corley getting ready to service, having that pregame ritual, spiking it. There it is. Beautiful set. And they get the point. Number 7, Sophia. So 8-3 here. Madison to serve for Washington. Jess settling under it, over to Lynn. Beautiful spike by Sydney. Lynn to set. Redirect. They get it again. Number 12, Jess. Coach Klein showing the enthusiasm. Jess Monroe from Pennsylvania getting ready to serve. A little bit late on that read. Corley settling under it. Almost a miscommunication. Back to Corley, over across. Redirect. Point awarded to Bethany. 10-3 here. Those not familiar with volleyball, we go 5 sets here. First to 25, but if a team gets to 3, they win it. Number 7, Sophia, getting ready to serve for Washington here. Coach Klein asking a question. Got it figured out. Corley settling under it. Lynn with the block. Lynn sets again. And Olivia was looking for the near side of the Washington floor. Washington ready to serve. Sophia setting it up. And they score. Sydney not being able to get the pop she needed to give it to Lynn. 9-6 here. Sophia with the serve. And they get the point again. Coach Klein telling to play deep a little bit. Sophia really finding the gap. Over to Bethany. Making up for it is Olivia. Had a bobble, got it together, got the point back. 10-7. So subbing out is number 9, Leah. And coming into the game, I believe that's number 30, and that is Riley. Corley trying to keep it in bounds. Either way would have been a point. Number 21 to serve. Jess settling under it to Lynn. Blocked at the wall. Sydney got stuffed, saving it, keeping it in play. Jess getting up for the block and gets the point. Riley bringing it. Watching these women in practice, Coach Klein really making sure that that wall is strong. Lauren to serve to Lynn. The wall. Finding it off the rebound, off the fingertips. Coach Klein calling a timeout. 10-10 here. Early this morning, we had a NCAA random COVID check. Almost 4 women were selected to get tested before the matchup. The same with Washington and Jefferson. We don't see it as the biggest thing, but to the NCAA and to this world, it's huge. Both teams always having to make sure we have temp checks before every game, before they even load up on the bus. If one person tests positive, it immediately gets shut down. Not allowed to travel, immediately into quarantine. And for all of us sitting in quarantine for a year, not knowing if we're going to play again, truly a difficult decision for us after we spend so much time battling through middle school, high school, trying to fight for that roster spot. And to come to college and not know if we're going to play, especially for a senior, you got to be wondering what's going through their head. Washington and Jefferson also having a very young team, only having what appears to be 4 juniors, not a single senior, to graduate this year. Jess keeping it over, getting a good spike, making Washington fight for it. Lynn with the setup. Sydney gets stuffed at the wall. 11-10. Coach Klein staying poised. Lauren to serve. Corley to Lynn. Redirect. Staying under it. Lynn to Sydney. Just outside. 12-10. Coach Klein saying to get that wall higher. Lauren to serve. To Lynn. To Riley. Riley getting the point, coming off the tip of Washington Jefferson. Sydney Snyder to serve for us. Coach pulling out Corley and putting back into the game. What a wall! Emma making sure she was there. Coach bringing up the smart energy, keeping Corley poised and ready to go, putting Emma into the game, ended up causing the point. Back to Sydney. Sydney gets an easy point. Not keeping the wrist strong enough. Sydney must be bringing the heat tonight, feeling the energy here at home. Sydney back up to serve. Trying to go for the weak link again. Set. Lynn to settle under it. Jess. Getting the tip again. 14-12 by Olivia, number 17. Sydney to serve again, looking to see if we can get it. She does. They get there. No, they don't. 4 for 4 on serves here tonight. Making rookie mistakes. Washington Jefferson not keeping the wrist strong. But maybe that's because Bethany's bringing the absolute steamers. Olivia getting stuffed at the wall. And Sydney checking out of the game. Corley coming back in. Alexis to serve here for Washington. Corley settling under it to Lynn. Emma, a little too low. Emma calling it. It was her bad. I feel like this is going to be a tight game. Both women coming out strong. Jess settling underneath it. Getting a little bit off balance, making it cause a little bit outside to the right. Alexis, a junior for the team. And overshooting the paint. Olivia to serve. Set under as Washington. Tip, Corley trying to save it. Unfortunately, the redirect is found coming off the tip of both Jess and Emma. Olivia to Corley to Lynn. Stuffed at the wall is Riley. Jess with an amazing set. And Washington doesn't find the other side of the floor hitting the net. Riley checking out of the game. And coming into the game is Leah again. Leah to serve. 4 for 4 on serves. Out. I do not think they will be called a tip. No tip. 5 for 5, Leah, tonight. Sets it up again. Just outside. Corley making a little rebound off the net. Washington to serve. Katie Connor to serve. And number 12, Jess Moore, finding that beautiful spike that we know. So Emma checking out of the game. And Sydney Snyder checking back in. Off the net. Refs calling something. 20-18 here. Getting close to almost ending the first set. Corley to serve. And wow, what a save. Getting it back over across. Lynn setting it up for Sydney. Redirect. Washington settling back under it. Little battle over the net. And our Bethany Bison's not able to settle underneath that to keep it alive. Coach Klein telling them to get in it. Checking into the game for Washington is Madison Simpson. Lynn to Sydney. What a save. Jess settling underneath it. Jess Monroe trying to fight at the wall there by Sydney and Lynn. Coach Klein giving a little bit of words of encouragement. Also, assistant coach Kaylee Terry, 2-time champion. Washington calling for a timeout. Bethany having a very young team with a ton of heart here, showing it as they're coming to play. We got to remember, most of these women here that are freshmen are normally at the age of 17 and 18, facing juniors that are anywhere from 20 to 21. Bethany, 2016, 2017 champions, trying to see if we can get it again this season. A little bit of a rocky start, but the underdog is always favored. And if you walk around our facility when we get out of COVID, you will see the amount of trophies that Coach Klein and this Bethany Bison volleyball team has won. Jasmine Rowe to serve. 3 points away from ending the set. And the serve. Washington Jefferson settling under, finding the room was Katie Connor. Excuse me. Point not awarded. Too close to the net violation. 23-19, 2 away here. Jess over serving it just a little bit. Jasmine Rowe checking out of the game. Sydney Kirker coming in. Sophia to serve for Washington Jefferson. Lynn settling underneath it. Stuffed at the wall. Settling back underneath it. And hitting the net is Olivia. Coach Klein calling a timeout. 23-21. I wish we could have a mic down there to hear what Coach is saying in this type of situation. 2 points away for Bethany to end the set, but only 4 needed for Washington Jefferson to close it. And this is where you set the tone. You find out who is going to come to play. Both these teams saying they want to win, but this is the dogfight. Bethany's energy, though, showing that they really want this win. Still fighting for it. Washington Jefferson coming out of their set. And their serve. Sophia to be serving for them. Here it is, settling underneath is Bethany. Redirect. Hitting the net. Leah, good. Finding it. Leah checking out of the game. Riley Felton coming back in. So Coach has the team to make sure that all the women are not getting gassed out there, and the talent is a very even level. Lynn to serve. Out. And set goes to Bethany. 1-0 here out of 5. We're going to take a short break here while we're in between sets. We'll see you back. Welcome back to Hummel Fieldhouse, where Bethany taking the first set tonight out of 5. As we get ready to settle back into this game, Coach giving the words of encouragement one last time as these women walk out. Substitution change for W&J. Lauren Gill checking out of the game, and number 10, Katie Connor, checking back in. Another substitution change, number 17, Olivia coming into the game, about to serve it for us tonight as we start set number 2. A beautiful way to start off the second set. Katie Connor not able to settle underneath the ball to give it the height it needed to be brought back over to Bethany. As we get ready again, W&J trying to figure it out. Corley almost having a little mix-up. Lynn to serve. W&J wall there again by Emma and Jess Moore. Olivia to serve. W&J selling underneath it. Riley controlling it. Corley to Lynn to Riley. Huge ball in the air. W&J trying to keep it in. Jess settling it. Lynn to Emma. Emma finding the gap. Beautiful point there. Lynn is a freshman from Columbus, Ohio, truly bringing it tonight as a setter. W&J trying to find the wall. Beautiful dive there by Jeff. Corley getting it back over, getting the girls settled again. Wall coming again. Riley and Emma keeping it over. Emma a little bit outside, got ahead of herself. Emma's also a freshman, but from Maryland, Elk Ridge. A little bit of a shallow spike. Lynn settling underneath it. Beautiful point by Jess Moore. Riley checking out of the game. Leah Good coming back in. 6 for 6 on the night as she gets ready to take a set. W&J almost hitting it off the net. Lynn trying to find them sleeping on the back. Beautiful wall again by Jess and Lynn. Lynn settling underneath it. Jess off the tip, getting the point. 5-1 right now. Leah 7 for 7 now. Just getting a little on top of the ball. That's served by Leah. Coach Klein giving her, hey, it's okay to have one bad one. Katie Connor to serve for W&J. Just trying to find it again. Settling, and Corley with the dive, not able to get underneath it. Five-3 here. Katie Connor is set. Emma settling underneath it, get back over to Lynn, to Jess, stopped at the wall, not able to save it though. 6-3 here. Emma checking out of the game, and Sydney Snyder checking back in. Corley to serve from Southmoreland, Pennsylvania, one of the stars there. Just about an hour 30 away from here. Lynn settling underneath it. The wall stopped again. But point awarded W&J. Playing it smart, letting it fall out of bounds. Number 15, Ashley, checking out of the game for W&J. And number 12, Madison Simpson, checking in to serve here. Lynn settling underneath it to Jess. Finding it skyballed off the rafters. Point awarded. 7-4 here. Just getting that point coming off Lynn. And beautiful hands Lynn has for this Bethany team. Beautiful serve by Lynn, almost hitting the wall. And W&J having a miscommunication on that set. Leah Good giving Jess a little bit of a game plan here as we get ready. 8-4 the score. Beautiful skim. Little collision. Jess Moore settling in again. W&J ready. She knows she can serve that ball. Beautiful setup. A little bit of a tip over to Lynn. Jess finding it. W&J, beautiful defense. Lynn getting back underneath it. And number 22, Sydney Snyder with the point. Timeout call, W&J. Even though we don't have fans, these women really make sure to amp each other up every single point, good or bad. 10-4 here. We're in the second set, by the way. Coach Klein giving the words of encouragement. Bethany not concerned at all about the fact that we're playing college volleyball. They're amped up, dancing. Very serious corner here W&J is giving. One thing that you can tell, you can always hear the communication. The team that has the better communication with one another normally ends up winning. Not always, but it truly helps out to know where they are on and off the floor so you don't have a miscommunication going for the ball. A lot of times what happens in volleyball is you end up getting two people that end up calling for it that go mine, 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 and then at the last second, both of them pull off thinking the other one has it. Jess Moore to serve for Bethany. 10-4 after taking a small timeout by W&J. Serve coming across. W&J settling it a little bit deep in their zone. Lynn to serve. Sydney getting stuffed at the wall. Brings the wall back. They're calling a guide by Bethany. Questionable as Coach Klein shakes her head. Jess checking out of the game. Sydney checking back in. And number 7, Sophia serving for W&J. Corley settling underneath it. To Lynn. To Sydney. W&J trying to keep it alive. And number 17, Claire Sutherland. Bison settling in for defense here. Lynn. Beautiful spike there by Olivia. Stopped at the wall is Lynn. Unfortunately, 10-7 here. The battle is much alive. Sophia getting ready to set. Leah settling underneath it. Over to Lynn. Jess having a beautiful one. A little bit high there. Almost a miscommunication by the Bison. Beautiful little touch and go. Lynn not able to get there. Coach Klein calling it out of bounds, but they're calling it, the refs are calling it a tip. You can see the frustration there. Sophia set. Lynn to Jess, and there it is, point back, 11-8 here. Leah Good checking out of the game, and Riley checking back in. Lynn to serve. W&J getting ready for the powerhouse that these women are about to bring. Settling underneath it. Riley diving. W&J looking to get a big spike, and that wall is there again. Point awarded, though, to W&J. Number 10, Katie, checking out of the game, and number 30, Alexis checking in. Didn't get the bounce off the ball that she wanted. Sydney tried to redirect it. These Bison women in a dogfight, 1 point lead right now, but in volleyball, that's not too much thing to ask. Sydney not getting a high enough serve by Lynn. Coach Klein calling a timeout. Tied up 11-11. W&J starting off their season well, 2-1 on the road, looking for the third. Bethany is trying to show that this is their house and they need this win. W&J having a significant smaller team than Bethany does. But what you love to see here is the fact that there is not just one team that is all juniors and one team that is all freshmen. Both coaches realizing that all these women have to fight to earn their spot to start. Lauren Gill to serve. Riley finding the corner. Getting the point, 12-11 here. Sydney Snyder to serve. Skips off the net. Saving it again is Sydney. Lynn not staying, a little bit shallow on it. Coach Klein telling him to stand tall. Alexis to serve. Corley settling underneath it. Riley redirect. I don't know. They're awarding the point. Well deserved. Sydney checking out of the game. And Jess Moore checking back in. Jess to serve. Lynn keeping it alive. Olivia getting it back over. And awarding the point, W&J. 13-13. Absolute grudge match we have here. Claire Sarlin to serve. Point awarded. Questionable call. I don't know. I feel like the majority of that ball was outside. 14-13. Service. And Olivia trying to direct it over there to Riley and just getting it away. And once again, I don't know what Claire is doing to that ball, but it somehow is almost giving a curve as it hits the wrists of our Bethany Bison. Corley settling underneath it to Lynn. Stuffed at the wall is Emma. Keeping it in bounds. (17-13). Coach Klein telling them we're still in this. Corley to Olivia. Just knocking it over. The wall once again. I would say that's guiding. Riley coming out of the game. Leah Good checking back in. 14-17 here. Leah getting a little bit on top of the ball. Just outside of the paint. Katie Connor to serve for W&J. Off the net. Easy point there for the Bison. Corley ready to serve. One-person wall there by Sydney Snyder, stuffing them. Saying, not in my house. Corley back to serve. Settling under it. Lynn saving it. Corley getting it up in the air. On Bethany on defense here. Stuffed at the wall again. (17-18). Remember, we go to 25 in every set. Out of 5. Timeout call W&J. The only senior that is graduating on both teams is Leah Good this year from PA. Quick huddle there by Coach Klein. Getting back to action here. Corley getting that ritual going before they serve. W&J redirect. Lynn realizing it. And Olivia getting it over. Corley settling underneath it. Sydney almost getting the point. Back to Lynn. Sydney once again outside. 19-17. Number 15, Ashley coming out of the game, and number 12, Madison Simpson checking back in from Washington, PA. Just 45 minutes away from here. And point awarded Bethany. W&J not able to settle underneath the ball. And just like that, back and forth action both teams are bringing tonight. Just to serve it. Coming up short is W&J. 19-19. And Jess finding it again. 20-19 here. Going on a hot streak. 3 for 3 right now. Service again by Jess. Doing it again. Making that ball seem like she's going to absolutely crush it into the back of their zone and giving it just enough to get it over. You got to be thinking as Coach Klein and the assistants finding out the weak links on the team. 22-19. Can she do it again? W&J settling underneath it. Bethany right there to answer back. Lynn, redirect, almost. And Sydney just off the net, not able to get it. Just coming out of the game. And Sydney checking back in. So Sophia back to serve for W&J. Corley settling underneath it. Lynn to Olivia. Olivia getting it back across. Point awarded to Bethany, 23-20. 2 points away from closing out the second set. So Leah Good coming out of the game and Riley checking in. Linda serve. Setting underneath it is Washington. Lynn to Riley. W&J settling underneath it. Corley stretching it out there to make that save. And Sydney just coming up short. 23-21 right now. Coach Klein telling the women it's all right. You're gonna make mistakes. W&J to serve. Lynn settling underneath it to Riley. Getting it. 24-21. Can these women put it away? Corley checking out of the game. And Emma checking back in. Sydney Snyder. W&J settling it. In, they're saying. All women checking it out. Side note, final score for the women's volleyball game against Grove City and Waynesburg. Grove City winning 3-all in the final. (24-23). W&J to serve. Alexis back. Corley settling underneath it. Riley bringing the heat, closing out that set. Calling it a tip. 2-0 here. These women showing they want it bad tonight. We're going to go to a short break as these women settle in. We'll see you here in a couple seconds. W&J. 2-0, the Bison lead. Coach Klein, able to hear a little bit in the huddle when she was talking to them, telling them, hey, keep your head up. We got 1 to go. Let's end this quick, ladies. Service starting off with W&J. Alexis to serve. Corley settling underneath it to Lynn. And Olivia trying to get that in there. W&J playing amazing defense here. Corley making sure Riley redirect. Lynn making sure that there was some backup against the wall. And Leah trying to get it over. The wall stopped by Emma and Jess. Lynn to Jess. Point awarded. Beautiful little setup. And Sydney checking out of the game. And Jess checking back in. Olivia to serve, way out of bounds. Claire to serve for Washington. Corley settling underneath it. Lynn to Jess. Back over to Washington. Jess making sure she gets that tip. Lynn fighting for it. Corley stopped at the wall is Jess. 2-1 here. Claire to serve for W&J. Corley to Riley. To Jess. Jess out of bounds. Looking for the back left and back right corners. She had it dialed in for the first and second set. Will she find it again? Claire to serve once again. Corley settling it. Emma trying to keep it alive. Beautiful communication there. Olivia seeing the draw. Corley diving for it. W&J setting it up. Only really going for the right side. Double tap by Emma. 4-1 here. So in the third set, Claire 4 for 4. 5 for 5. Bethany thinking that it was staying on W&J's side. Out of bounds. And that's the turn that these women needed. Riley coming out of the game and Leah checking back in. It's a question. You know, every sport you have the guy who always warms up and has a specific ritual. Point awarded to Bethany. Emma and Jess Moore keeping that wall high and making sure W&J does not get the point. Leah, beautiful serve. Saving it. Diving save there for W&J. Emma almost getting it out of bounds. Trying to keep it alive here. Just getting the tip and the point. 4-5 in the third set. Leah to serve. Out of bounds. 6-4 right now. Katie Connor to serve for W&J right now. Bethany settling underneath it, and Leah not having the height on the spike. Coach Klein telling her, hey, it's all right. We'll get them back. We got a long way to go. 7-4 right now. Corley settling to Lynn. Stopped at the wall. Getting it back over is Jess. Out. No tip call this time. Women understanding that we got it. Emma coming out of the game. And Sydney Snyder checking back in. Brooke Corley to serve. W&J only really going for the right side, but it seems to be working for them. Eight 5 as service goes back to W&J. Leah keeping it alive to Olivia. Keeping it on W&J's side. Sydney and Jess. Jess to serve as well. 6-8 right now. W&J started off the game pretty close to the net, and by this third set, they moved it back. Point awarded Bison. 7-8 right now. Just to serve. Corley making a save. And Olivia making sure that it is not retrievable for W&J. Olivia is also a freshman from Pickerton, Ohio. Went to Fairfield Christian. Corley trying to make that save. Jess checking out of the game. And Sydney coming back in. Sydney also a freshman. Lynn to Sydney. W&J trying to keep it alive. Out. And it seems the powerhouse for W&J is coming from the left side. We really have rarely seen them score a point coming to the near side over by the press box, which would be to the Bethany Bison's left. Service by Lynn. Corley settling underneath it. Over to Lynn to set. Riley stuffs at the wall. Lynn keeps it alive. Beautiful little touch. Out of bounds. 10-9 right now. Lynn to serve. I don't know. I feel like she was underneath that on that one. 10-all here as service goes back to W&J. Lauren Gill to serve, also a freshman. Almost a little miscommunication there by the Bisons. Lynn over-serving Sydney just a little bit. Riley to spike. High set by Washington. Diving effort. Unable to make it. Sydney trying to keep that ball alive for the team. 12-10 here in the third set. If Bethany closes this, they win tonight. Riley settling underneath it. Getting it over the wall. And a point. Both Sydney and Olivia connecting on that one. As Brooke comes out of the game, Emma checking back in. And Sydney coming up short once again. Sydney checking out, Corley checking back in. And a little bit of elevator action there as the ball went up, came back down. 11-14 in favor of Washington. And 12-14, 2-point game. Olivia back to serve for the Bisons. W&J having second thoughts on what she wanted to do. Corley making a diving save. Riley getting a little bit of a tip. Unable to save it. 13-14. These women, even though we do not have a crowd, they are letting us know that it's game time. Able to keep it. Riley and Emma make sure that wall stands tall. Standing tall once again and getting it. Point awarded, 14-14. Bisons to serve. W&J almost not able to save it. Corley to Lynn. Emma, I think we call it. No, they're awarding it W&J. 15-14. From my angle, it looks like Alexis may or may not have touched that ball. Out of bounds. Point coming back to Bethany. Riley checking out of the game. Leah coming back in as well, ready to serve. Here we go. Washington J settling underneath it. Out of bounds. 16-15. W&J trying to settle underneath it. Corley making it. 16-16. Referee timeout. A little bit of instruction to be given. I think they're trying to figure out the score. So the next game for the Bisons will be the 17th. And they will be taking on at home. If you're just tuning in, past two sets have been 21-25 in favor of the Bisons. Second set was 23-25, also in favor of the Bisons. And right now, if the refs do not change the score, it'll be 16-16 in the third set. If the Bisons are able to capitalize on this set, they will take the game tonight. And these women knowing it. No pressure involved on their bench. making sure it's all smiles underneath the masks. You gotta wonder, how hard is it for them to breathe with that on? The refs and coaches, I understand, but these women are giving it their all. And Jess Moore getting the spike coming off Lynn. There was a change to the score. It is now 17-15 in favor of Bethany. Deep ball from W&J. Timeout taken by W&J. Will this be Bethany's first win of the season? They're in good spirits. They really want it tonight. W&J trying to see if they can find another gear. Both teams coming out of their huddle. Coach Klein giving Lynn a little bit of instructions, telling her to get off the net just a little bit as they go to serve to be able to rebound it in case it bounces off her. Brooke Corley getting settled back to serve. W&J playing deep, knowing that these women are able to bring the heat on the ball. Settling it again. Stopped at the wall. 18-16. That kind of trickled on top of that net, almost like a balance board. Ashley checking out of the game. And Madison Simpson coming back in for W&J, also to serve. Out of bounds. 19-16. And here we go. This court's already been electrified all night, but here is where it's going to get really loud. Save. Lynn settles underneath it. Just bringing the heat on that one, bringing it all the way up to the rafters. Olivia getting stuffed at the wall. Just a little bit short on the serve. As Jess checks out of the game, Sydney comes back in. 19-17 here. Olivia coming up short. Coach Klein telling the women, hey, let's get it together. Let's make this an easy night and let's go home with a high head. W&J's keeping their cool. But you gotta wonder what they are talking about, because this is make or break it. They either take it to a fourth and get a go again, or Bethany comes out on top and sweeps them. A lot of these women for the Bethany Bisons are from the West Virginia, Ohio, and Pennsylvania area. W&J feeling the same way. Corley settling underneath it, almost having a miscommunication. And Olivia needed a little bit more height to get it redirected. Olivia checking out of the game. Haiti checking in. W&J, I do not think they're going to call a tip. (2019) as Lynn gets ready to serve. Ref timeout. Don't know what the miscommunication was about. Unable to hear it. Sounds like it's a reserve for Bethany. W&J coach letting her thoughts be made to the referee. And Lynn, beautiful serve, finding the open slot. 22-19, 3 points away. Here we go, 3 points away to figure out if this is game. Both teams coming out ready. Lynn having her little set. Almost kissing the net on that one. Going deep. Lynn to Hattie. Riley with the spike. Out of bounds. 22-20. Service goes to W&J. Lauren Gill to serve. Slowly reeling it back in is W&J. Timeout called by Coach Klein. Wednesday the 17th, Bethany will be hosting Westminster, playing a doubleheader, and that is home. And then the same week, they will be facing Waynesburg away, and that is also a doubleheader. Quick timeout for both of them. Lauren Gill to serve for W&J. Here it is. Settling underneath it. Lynn to Riley. Riley almost getting the point. The wall kind of collapsed. Out of bounds. No tip called. 23-21. Just like that. Brooke Corley checking out of the game, and Emma coming back in. Sydney to serve. Emma to Lynn to Riley. Riley out of bounds. 23-22. W&J serve. Corley getting underneath it. Big spike. Hattie with a save. And number 15, Ashley Colville Jr. for W&J. Tapping it down over the net. Coach Klein telling her girls, hey, it's all right. It's 1 point. 24-23. W&J taking the lead for the first time in this third set. This isn't win by 2. Whoever gets it. Lynn. And W&J taking the third set. 25-23. We will see you in a couple minutes for the fourth set out of 5. Start of the fourth set here as we get ready to go. W&J finally getting their first set win. Bison's just letting it slip through their hands. Literally. Start off the serve of Bison's. Overshooting is Olivia. 1-0 right now. Service coming from W&J. Olivia to Jess. Jess getting a tip from the wall. And slipping in between Emma and Riley. Olivia settling underneath it. Riley. W&J now attacking to Bethany's left now. For the past 3 sets, they've only been attacking the right majority of the time. Different strategy here. Coralie settling underneath it. Lynn. Jess. Coralie diving again. Riley getting the point. 3-1 right now. Riley coming out of the game. Leah checking back in. And the serve. A little bit outside. W&J attacking to the right as they were. Coralie settling underneath it. Great defense from Bethany. And just finding the opening there. Emma controlling it. Lynn 4-2 right now. Service goes back to W&J. Olivia settling under it. Just finding it. Getting the point. Emma coming out of the game and Sydney coming back in. Coralie to serve. W&J not settling underneath it. 4-4 right now. Coralie sailing it a little bit high. And Ashley coming out of the game. And Alexis checking back in. Alexis using the net a bit of her advantage. Probably wasn't the plan, but it ends up working out as Bethany was not able to settle underneath it. Out of bounds. 6-5 right now. Jess getting it over. W&J attacking the right again. And the wall standing tall. Jess controlling it. Coralie getting the angle back over to W&J. Favoring that right side. And Sydney and Lynn combining together to make sure the wall is high. 6-6 right now. Jess to serve. Just outside. Jess coming out of the game. Sydney checking back in. Sophia to serve for W&J. Off the net. Not able to get underneath of that. Leah getting it over again. W&J really attacking the right side, and it seems to be working for them. 9-6 right now. Off the net, Sophia doesn't find the height on that one to get the tip. Leah checking out of the game. Riley coming back in. And Lynn to serve for the Bisons. Lynn to serve. Attacking the middle this time is W&J. Coralie sets it. Finding the open slot is Sydney. 8-9 the score right now in favor of Washington Jefferson. Number 22, Alexis, seeing the open hole Bethany provided. Lynn not able to settle underneath it. Olivia finding the wall, using it to her advantage, making it unplayable. Sydney to serve. Attacking the right side once again. And Emma and Riley staying tall. By the way, Riley is 6'1", and Emma is 5'9". Both very tall women, making sure they get over that net. Sydney getting it across. W&J favoring that right side. Staying high. Lynn settles it. Jess getting it across with a good spike. Emma to Jess. 10-11 right now as Sydney checks out of the game and Brooke Corley checks back in. (12-10) right now in the fourth set. Olivia. Emma ready for it in case it popped over. Luckily, she didn't have to do anything too much. So Sydney coming out of the game and Jess Moore coming back in. Olivia to serve. W&J controlling it, attacking the middle this time. Riley almost getting that back left corner. Bison almost looking like there's a communication error out there. Riley saving it. Corley making sure it can be set. And Jess gets it back over. Wall coming strong again. Lynn to Riley. Controlled by W&J. Wall staying high. And point awarded to Bethany. Riley coming out of the game, and Leah checking back in as she serves. Attacking the middle now is W&J. Point Lizzie, freshman as well, as she comes out of the game. And Lauren comes back in. Off the net, able to control it is Leah. And the middle doesn't work this time. Trying for the right side doesn't work as well. Bison's playing amazing defense right now. Jess stuffed at the wall. Timeout called Bethany. 15-12. Got to be wondering, is coach trying to say let's play good defense here, or are we attacking? W&J looking to make sure that they capitalize on this, as we are in the fourth set out of 5. Coach Klein making all of her women take a deep breath in and deep breath out, saying, hey, it's all good. Still got a long game. Katie Connor to serve for W&J. Leah settling underneath it to Lynn. To Jess. Jess finding it off a couple of W&J players. Emma coming out of the game and Sydney checking back in. Brooke Corley to serve. Almost out of bounds. Corley settling underneath it to Lynn. Back to Jess. In bounds, they're calling it. 14-15 in favor of W&J. Brooke back to serve. W&J attacking right side once again. Love tap by Jess. Lynn to Sydney. Love tap again. Corley settling underneath it. Lynn, high set, just out of bounds. (16-14). Madison Simpson to serve for W&J. And short. Service back to Bisons. As Jess will serve. Out of bounds, W&J. 16-16. Jess, beautiful serve. Set, going to the middle again. Bethany picking up on that. Olivia with a good spike. Attacking the middle, not finding the height. Looks like it hit her more in the pinky than it actually did her palm. Sending it a little bit to the right. Timeout taken by W&J. 17-16 here. Assistant coach John Carroll talking in the huddle as Coach Klein just gives a little bit of encouragement to Olivia. Just analyzing some things. W&J, I think what they're going to try to do with this end of this set is attack more of the middle. They realize that the right side is kind of locked off. And with this tight of a game, you really just got to start trying things. Both teams coming out of their huddles. If you're just tuning in, set wins go as W&J with 1, Bethany with 2. Third set, W&J took it over. And out of bounds goes that one. Point awarded to Bethany. Jess back to serve. Just short as she comes out, and Sydney checks back in. Sydney settles under it. Beautiful set by Lynn. And Sydney drives it off a W&J player, almost getting it higher than the scoreboard right now. 19-17. Lynn with a beautiful serve, making it 20-17. Is the clock going to strike midnight here in the fourth set? Beautiful serve once again. W&J attacking the middle, getting a point, 20-18. Service goes back to W&J. Corley settling underneath it. To Lynn. To Olivia. Olivia with a beautiful spike, sending it deep into the W&J zone. Riley with the spike. Keeping it alive. .2019 here. Bethany leading by 1. Riley with the spike just outside. So score 20-20. Coach telling her to get that wrist out. Riley finding it. 21-20. As Corley checks out and Emma comes back into the game. Sydney to serve. He's a sophomore, by the way. The fight is alive here. What a redirect. Emma first getting the spike, stuffed by the wall, getting it back over. Emma redirecting it once again to the left side. 23-20, 2 points away from closing it out. We're not live anymore? Coach Klein trying to take it in and say, hey, let's get it done here. W&J making sure that the defense is there, realizing that every single person that Bethany puts in are heavy hitters. Sydney Snyder to serve. If you're just joining us, 23-20. Coming back from the timeout. We're back to the action. 2 points away from figuring out if Bethany's going to get it done or is W&J going to bring it back out of bounds. 21-23. Sydney checking out of the game. Brooke Corley checking back in. Number 12, Madison Simpson checking out of the game for W&J. And number 15, Ashley Colville checking back in. Corley settles underneath it. Lynn gets under it. Outside, way outside. As we come back from the timeout, 23-22. Bethany leading by 1. Can they close it out with 2 more points? I know they hope so. W&J trying to keep it alive right now. Having to switch up their tactics. First set and second set, they came out only attacking the right side of the Bethany Bisons. And Bethany shut that down very well. So they completely switched up their strategy. Instead of attacking one of the left side or the right side, they're straight up going down their throat. Immediately trying to go for the middle. Coralie settling underneath it. Lynn, Emma redirect, finding the point. 24-22. Olivia set the point. Diving is Coralie once again. Lynn dives for it. Riley just outside of the paint. 24-23. Grudge match once again, just like we had in the third set. Service goes back to W&J. A little bit of a wet spot out on the floor. Claire Sutherland to serve for W&J. Settling underneath it. Almost giving up the point. Lynn saving it. Coralie underneath it. Riley keeping it alive, W&J. Coralie settling underneath it, getting it to Lynn. Jess! Beautiful rally we have going on right now. Attacking the right side once again. They find the point. We are matched again. Same comeback story as the third set. Claire Sutherland about to serve it. Redirect the point. (25-24). Riley coming out of the game, and Leah Good checking back in. 25-25. Katie Connor to serve for W&J. Emma settling underneath it to Jess. Making the wall. 26-25. I don't know about you guys, but I'm almost out of my seat. This game is electrifying. Coralie to serve. You cannot make this up, ladies and gentlemen. 26-26. Substitution change for W&J. Number 12 coming back into the game. Madison Simpson. Lynn setting it up. Jess trying to find it. Coralie making another dive. That's the point. Sydney Snyder realizing that both women were ready to jump at the sign of a spike and absolutely just touched it over. Another wet spot ground. 27-26. Just more to serve after they get it cleaned up. Here we go. Jess coming up almost short and getting the easy point. To Lynn. Sydney finding it. And that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, an unreal matchup we had tonight. 28-26, the final score, 3-1. they beat W&J. I'm Josh Allegra. Thanks for tuning in today with us, and have an awesome day.